Welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about how to carry out two simple tasks on a Mikrotik router. The first one is how to check the optical power on your optical interface, and then the second one is how to view the MAC address table on a Mikrotik switch. So the switch I'll be using for this demonstration is the Mikrotik CRS326. It comes with 24 10 gig ports and two 40 gig ports. To check out the features of this device, just head out to mikrotik.com. While there, click on hardware, then click on switches, and then scroll down till you find the CRS326. So this device comes equipped with the ability to run the router OS and the switch OS. To carry out the demonstration, I'll just bring up my CRS326. I have my CRS326 that I'm using as an aggregation switch. I recently deployed this switch on a network, and I must say that the performance has been nothing short of amazing. Like I said earlier, the device has 24 10 gig ports and two 40 gig ports. If you want to check the optical power on your Mikrotik device, especially the switch, you can do that in two ways. One is to do that via the GUI on a Winbus. The second is to do it via the terminal. I will be doing both. To view it via the GUI, simply go to interface, scroll down to the SFP Plus interface that you want to check the optical power on. So once you click on that, double click on the SFP interface, you go to SFP and then scroll down to the information that you're looking for. So the first thing that you see that may be of great importance to you is the distance of the the optical module that you have inserted on the device. The one I have here is 10 kilometers. And you are also going to be presented with the name of the vendor of that optical module, as well as the vendor part number. You see the revision number, you see the serial number, you also see the date of manufacture of that device. Okay, you are going to also see the wavelength of that particular SFP module, the temperature on that port. But the most important thing that you're looking for is here, the transmit and the receive powers on that interface. So that's how you check the optical power on your Mikrotik router or switch optical port via the GUI. To do the same thing via the terminal, you simply enter the command interface Ethernet monitor, then the SFP interface you want to view, and hit the enter key. This gives you a lot of information, way much more than we saw via the GUI. So here you're going to see the interface description. You are going to also see the name, okay, SFP plus one on that interface. It tells you about the link status, tells you that it is okay. You see the negotiation type, in this case it's auto negotiation. You see the rate that was negotiated, it's 10 gigabits per second speed, and it tells you that the duplex is full. Okay, if you scroll down here, you're going to see the supported SFP types here, and you also see the advertised SFP type on that interface as well. Okay, if you go down a bit, you see that it's telling us that there is no fault on this SFP interface. It tells us the distance of the SFP, just like we saw via the GUI. We also see the vendor name, okay, the revision number, the part number, they're all here as well. You can also see the serial number here. The date of manufacture is right here, the wavelength, the temperature. But most of all, the most important thing you'll be looking for is the optical power, which is the receive and the transmit power. This is what you get when you view your optical power using the command line interface. So the second thing, like I said earlier, is for us to check the MAC address table. Okay, recently a lot of people are beginning to deploy Mikrotik switches because they found out that these switches can also do most of the things that your high-end switches do, especially at the ISP edge and access. So if you're using your Mikrotik switch where you have VLANs and you have devices connected, you may want to be able to view your MAC address table. So to do that, it's quite easy. You go to your bridge interface. Right here on your bridge interface, click on host. So when you click on host, you're going to be presented with a whole lot of information. Okay, you click on host, you're going to see a lot of them, but you would want to filter down to either a VLAN or an interface. So to do that, first of all, is on the interface here. You can see here, I'm choosing to filter using interface, and then specifying my interface. So the interface is SFP plus 1. So once I do that, I'll click on filter. As you can see, there are lots of MAC addresses on this interface. I can see the MAC address here, the VLAN, the SFP interface. So you see the MAC address, you see the VLAN, you see the interface it is being learned. In some cases, you want to filter based on VLAN. So in that case, you click on the drop-down arrow, choose VLAN ID, and then you can specify the VLAN ID. In this case, 2092, for instance. And I click on filter. I can see that I'm learning two different MAC addresses on that same single interface. You can do this for any other VLAN 20 in this case. I'm seeing a lot of MAC addresses here on a single interface for this particular VLAN. So to do the same thing on the terminal, using the terminal, we go to interface and we say bridge and then host, and I can say print where VLAN ID equals 2092 like we checked earlier. So here I'm also seeing those two MAC addresses, and the interface I'm learning the MAC addresses on. You can see that I'm learning these MAC addresses on VLAN 2092 on SFP plus 1. If I want to do the same thing using the interface, I'll say where interface equals SFP plus 1, and I can see lots of MAC addresses here. I can also filter them using VLAN 3346 as I'm seeing here, and it will just narrow it down to that particular VLAN. Okay, for any VLAN that I am interested in, I will simply filter using that VLAN. Let's say VLAN 2197, and you can see that I'm learning these MAC addresses on this spot. So guys, that's how quick and easy it is for you to check the optical power on any of your Mikrotik devices that has optical interfaces, and also to view your MAC address table. Like I said earlier, Mikrotik devices are gaining popularity, especially their switch product line. A lot of people are beginning to deploy these switches at the edge and at the access layers of their network, especially if you're running VLANs. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it, and turn up your post notifications so that you get notified whenever I drop new videos. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.